In Apartment 7A, an inspiring dancer learns the hard way why you should always say no to the elite. After being offered what appears to be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, she uncovers that the price of success is something she isn't willing to pay. She realizes her dreams are simply the bait used to trap her. After meeting an elite older couple, she is invited into a prestigious world of luxury and offered stardom as a lead on Broadway. But right when she thinks these people are trying to help her, they reveal the price for their support. They want her to surrender herself entirely to the darkness they serve. We have all heard stories about the dark price of fame, but this movie gives us a front row seat to what that price actually looks like. When you compare the events in this film to the real-life operations detailed in recently unsealed documents, the similarities are terrifying. The film operates as a prequel to Rosemary's Baby while simultaneously acting as a documentary exposing the exact industry traps so many fall for. Today, we are decoding Apartment 7A to show you exactly how the elite use fame to trap their prey. Apartment 7A follows the story of Terry, an inspiring dancer who unknowingly falls into a predatory trap. The setup begins the moment she suffers a devastating, career-ending injury center stage. In an instant, she goes from a rising star to a complete liability. The industry immediately casts her out, leaving her entirely desperate. The elite rely on exactly this type of vulnerability to begin their process. Searching for any possible second chance, Terry follows a powerful Broadway producer to his home at the highly exclusive Bramford building. Weak and completely disoriented from the heavy painkillers required for her injury, she collapses right outside the front doors. But what appears to be pure luck, a wealthy older couple happens to find her in distress. They step in as her immediate saviors, inviting her inside the Bramford and offering her a free rent apartment. Making this look like a lucky accident is the first step of their system of control. Terry accepts the offer, completely unaware that their kindness comes with a massive hidden cost. They are actively isolating her from the outside world. The second phase of the operation begins with an exclusive invitation. The older couple sets up a private meeting for Terry at the Broadway producer's apartment under the disguise of networking. When she arrives, the couple is nowhere to be found. The producer is waiting for her completely alone. He offers her a single drink, which causes her instantly to black out. She wakes up the next morning in his bed, with him heavily implying that they were intimate. He immediately follows this with the news that she landed a prime role in his show. The producer used the instant reward of career success to distract her from the fact that they just took total control of her life. From that moment, an unnatural level of control takes over. One of the elite neighbors provides a mysterious ointment that miraculously heals her shattered ankle overnight, binding her further to their death. Soon after, she discovers she's pregnant. The psychological manipulation escalates rapidly when another resident attempts to warn her about the pregnancy before abruptly suffering a fatal heart attack right in front of her. Driven by pure terror, Terry discovers a hidden passageway leading directly into the deceased woman's apartment. Inside, she uncovers the absolute truth of her situation. She finds a dark grimoire containing the exact talisman the older couple gifted her, alongside horrific imagery revealing the cult's ultimate plan. Following the clues, she descends into a hidden sub-basement temple. The Broadway producer finally confronts her in this underground room, revealing she was chosen for their darkest ritual. She is told her child will be the child of the entity they serve, and he will change the world forever. The elite promised her everything she ever wanted, provided she willingly surrendered her entire soul. When we pull back the curtain on Apartment 7A, the blueprint of a real-world operation becomes terrifyingly clear. The film operates as a perfect metaphor showing exactly how an organized network uses the promise of fame and limitless wealth as bait to capture upcoming talent. The old couple and the Broadway producer isolated Terry by offering her the ultimate dream. They knew her ambition would make her completely blind to the warning signs. When you open the unsealed documents detailing the most notorious monster of our time, you see the exact same power dynamics executed in real life. This individual consistently targeted young, vulnerable women looking for a career breakthrough. He used his deep connections to major global fashion brands as the ultimate bait. He promised these women high lucrative contracts, magazine covers, and access to a world of luxury they could never reach on their own. By presenting himself as the golden ticket to their success, he gained their complete trust. Once they accepted the help, the trap snapped shut. They were frequently flown out to secluded estates where their freedom was entirely stripped away. The overlap between the elite financier and the entertainment industry is completely exposed in these files. We see direct communications between this disgraced financier and a highly prominent Hollywood mogul. The unsealed emails reveal a specific chilling request. The financier explicitly asked the mogul to secure an audition for a woman he was involved with. The genre of the film she was auditioning for was a horror movie. This proves that access to the silver screen was actively used as currency among powerful men. The Bramford building is a perfect representation of this exact dynamic. The wealthy elite and Hollywood producers operate in the exact same circles. They trade favors, leverage, and human lives behind closed doors, completely shielded from public view. The most disturbing parallel comes at the climax of the film. Terry discovers she was chosen specifically to act as a surrogate to carry the ultimate burden for the cult. Their primary goal is to spread their dark influence into the next generation, ensuring their power outlives them. This mirrors one of the most chilling revelations from the real-world case. Unsealed reports detailed the financier's deep obsession with transhumanism and his active plan to use his massive New Mexico ranch as a secluded genetic facility. His stated goal was to use multiple women at his compound to spread his own DNA. He wanted to mass-produce his own elite lineage. This movie takes this real-world situation and translates it into a literal horror story. The elite operating inside the Bramford building represent the real-life power structures perfectly. They hide in plain sight inside the most exclusive zip codes. They use their immense wealth and political connections to completely insulate themselves from the law. They understand human psychology perfectly. They dangle the keys to stardom in front of a desperate, ambitious person, knowing that the desire for fame is the ultimate tool for absolute control. The physical location of the trap plays as a massive role on how the entire operation functions. In the film, the Bramford building operates as a towering fortress of wealth that completely isolates Terry from the public. The sinister location was heavily inspired by a real, heavily exclusive apartment building located right in the heart of New York City. This real-world property is widely considered one of the most prestigious and tightly guarded addresses on the planet. Only the absolute highest tier of society is ever allowed past the gates. It also carries a heavy dark history. This is the exact location where music legend John Lennon lost his life right outside the front doors. The building provides the exact kind of installation required for an elite network to operate directly in the open. They are shielded entirely by impenetrable luxury. When we look at the unsealed documents, we see this exact strategy used in real life. The disgraced financier maintained his primary base of operations inside a massive, heavily secured property located in one of the most expensive zip codes in New York City. This towering Manhattan residence functioned exactly like the Bramford. It was a physical trap disguised as the ultimate symbol of high society. The sheer scale of the townhouse projected absolute power and influence to anyone who entered. Young talent and ambitious individuals were actively invited to this New York residence under the promise of meeting influential producers and global business leaders. The overwhelming prestige of the building created a powerful false sense of security. The targets walked through those heavy wooden doors, believing they had finally reached the upper circle of true success. They felt safe because of the extreme wealth surrounding them. Once they were inside, the intense scrutiny and total privacy allowed the network to execute their system of control without any outside interference. The victims were completely trapped behind locked doors, while the rest of the city walked right by outside, completely oblivious. The film uses the building to make a massive, overarching point for the audience. It paints a perfectly clear picture showing how the entertainment industry, the ultra-wealthy elite, and dark psychological manipulation are all completely intertwined. They hide their darkest operations behind the most expensive doors in the city, using the illusion of high society to master control. The elite system does not stop when one target resists. In the timeline of the story, Terry ultimately rejects their control, making her entirely useless to the network. They do not pause their operation or mourn the loss of an asset. They simply discard her and immediately move on to the next vulnerable target. This leads directly into the events of Rosemary's Baby, which serves as the chronological sequel. The elite instantly replaced Terry with Rosemary, a new arrival to the Bramford building. This illustrates a terrifying reality. They view human beings as completely expendable. If you fail to fall in line, they will erase you and plug a new person into the exact same trap without a second thought. To capture Rosemary, they deploy the exact same manipulation tactics they used on Terry. The trap is completely identical. The older couple immediately sweeps in, playing the role of wealthy saviors. They secure Rosemary and her husband an exclusive apartment inside the Bramford. They shower the young couple with expensive gifts and suddenly thrust them into a world of high society and limelight that they could never afford on their own. They use extreme generosity to create a massive psychological debt, ensuring the couple feels entirely obligated to their new benefactors. To guarantee Rosemary does not escape, they evolve their system of control. They realize the most effective way to capture a target is to compromise the person closest to them. They approach Rosemary's husband, an ambitious but struggling actor. They offer him the exact same deal they offered Terry. They promise him massive fame, wealth, and a highly successful acting career. The price for his admission into their exclusive inner circle is his own wife. He must allow them to use her to carry out their plans, and he must actively work to keep her isolated and confused throughout the entire process. He willingly accepts the deal, trading his wife's freedom for his own stardom. This mirrors the exact system of control detailed in the unsealed files and real-world survivors' testimonies. The powerful do not just target isolated individuals. They actively recruit managers, partners, and close friends, buying their loyalty with the promise of industry access and extreme wealth. They turn a target's own support system into the very cage that holds them. By compromising the people you trust the most, they ensure you have absolutely nowhere to run when the doors finally lock. I think a full video on Rosemary's Baby would be a good one. If you want to see that, comment Rosemary's Baby below. And if I see enough of you interested, I'll make sure that's the very next video. When you step back and look at the entire picture, the narrative woven throughout Apartment 7A and Rosemary's Baby functions as a detailed step-by-step manual for this system of exploitation. We have traced the exact sequence of their operation. We saw the strategic targeting of vulnerable, ambitious talent. We analyzed the weaponized use of prestige real estate to physically isolate the victim from the outside world. We uncovered the horrific reality that they would instantly discard anyone who resists and immediately replace them with a brand new target. The terrifying truth is that the exact manipulation tactics we watch on screen have been heavily documented in the unsealed files of the real world. The entertainment industry and the ultra-wealthy operate seamlessly together as one massive coordinated network. They rely entirely on the public viewing these stories as pure fiction. That willful ignorance allows them to hide their most sinister operations directly in plain sight. Our goal here is to shine a massive spotlight on that hidden reality. Exposing their exact blueprint is the only way to dismantle the trap. In fact, this isn't the only movie that shows us this hidden price of fame. In movies like Late Night with the Devil and Starry Eyes, we see the same exact pattern. Fame and success are used as leverage to trap upcoming talent and take control of them. If you want to see how these movies completely expose the industry, make sure to watch this video right now. And if you appreciate unfiltered content that is willing to go where the mainstream media isn't, make sure to like this video and subscribe to join the movement. I want to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.